How is everyone doing this week? It has been 2 whole weeks since our last devlog and we are ready to get back at it. Without boring you guys too much, after getting an announcement from the people over at Ask Gamedev that they were hosting a community spotlight event, we thought it was a perfect opportunity to show off our project. After our team decided to try and make this happen, we quickly set up a Trello to-do list and got to work. Well, except me, because I actually had to go camping for that weekend, so that kind of cut my time down by about 3 days. And in addition, Carl couldn't really work on it towards the end of the competition because the fire in Oregon happened and that really cut back on his time. But with the cards stacked high against us, we really buckled down and got straight to work. While Carl and I slowly got our stuff back together, Post Critical was just spewing out straight map ideas all day and then went full developer for the next week, which is actually the map you guys see at the very beginning. Before we get right into it, stay tuned till the very end for an awesome announcement because we're really excited to be able to give back to our awesome community. And also stick around just so that algorithm just picks up this juicy content filled video. After getting the news about the monthly community game spotlight event, I instantly wanted to participate. Though as some of you may know, our game isn't in the nicest looking state to showcase it, so that was the main goal of ours. As soon as I was able to reach my computer, I slammed on my keyboard and then realized that, oh wait, you need to actually do work to make a game. So that's when I stood straight back up and went to go watch YouTube for about another hour. But then, I was ready. I was hyped, excited, and ready to start development. So I sat back down, got into Trello, and got straight to work. The first thing you have to do when you're working for a deadline is to establish what you may need to get done. I separated our major tasks into 4 different cards: the gameplay, the audio, the models, and the map. These 4 are exactly what we needed to make this game look as awesome as it can, and also just make sure we knew exactly what kind of bugs and features we need to implement. After doing the boring work and organizing what each of the members are responsible for, I finally opened up Unity and got to work. The biggest thing I wanted to do was when the AI loses sight of the target, I wanted them to run to the last seen position of the target and search from there. This makes them feel a bit more realistic, and at the same time, I kinda didn't know this, but this was about to cause 5 other bugs to appear. So that's just fantastic. You fix one bug and 5 others appear. But when the system was finally in place, it feels way better than what it was before, because previously when they lose the target, they would just wander from that current location, and it kind of looks weird. They could just turn around and run the other direction, something like that, and it makes no sense. While I was working on this stupid, fun AI, Carl was hard at work on giving us the ability to kill specific entities for quests. This means we can finally say, go kill this orc, and it would actually have to go over there and kill a specific orc, not any orc you see. With these 2 mechanics done in the first few days, we thought we were going to blow this out of the water. While we worked on the mechanics, Post Critical was working tirelessly on making the map. He threw around some awesome ideas inspired by Tomb Raider, and we all really loved the idea. But before hopping right in, he brushed up on his reading over level design just to make sure this map was as awesome as it can be. And if you guys are interested, I'll link the articles down in the description below. In the meantime, he asked Periperator if he could make some destroyed orc buildings, and Periperator got back to him with some awesome and sexy destroyed buildings. While Periperator showcased that, Excelsius worked on a farmer dude that just looks kind of awesome. Wow, I just kind of realized that we have a lot to talk about now and a lot of people to cover, so it's gonna be one awesome devlog, so stay tuned. But the beginning of the week was completely packed with development and it was really hectic, but it was extremely fun to be a part of. Sadly, this was the week I went camping, so I wasn't able to do too much, but the night before I went, I fixed up a few more bugs. There was a small little issue that basically made the AI just completely forget the player if he was just right in front of him. Meaning if you would just step to the side a bit, he wouldn't detect the player at all and go into the search state. After doing some digging, I figured out why this kept happening. So after switching a conditional action, it was completely fixed. So that actually surprised me for once, that game development wasn't as hard as I expected, and all you gotta do is change one boolean. But yeah, anyways, going back, while I was out camping, the rest of the team were able to complete some major steps into getting the build out. The biggest thing that happened towards the end of the week was that Post Critical was able to start the map creation process. And this map wasn't a map you guys have seen in Windshire before. Instead of being an island like usual and having to worry about the horizon line, Post Critical performed a big brain and made it in a valley. This eliminates some of the biggest problems we had before and allows us to confine the player in a better way. He started off by making the player start in an abandoned mining facility, and like mentioned before, he was inspired by Tomb Raider. This wasn't even the only change from the test map. We also changed the color palettes of the trees and the grass to make it cooler and limited ourselves in color like shown in previous devlogs. Anyways, he got a rough block out and it was already taking shape. With the main terrain finished and a block out of the starting area finished, we were looking pretty darn good for the deadline. And while we were all working very hard, Carl was just being Carl and just sitting back and watching. Once finally getting back from camping, I was super pumped to get some more development in, but then I realized I still have school and other stuff I had to work on, so I didn't have as much time as I wanted to. That didn't stop me from getting some awesome progress at the start. The first thing I did was talk to our UI designer about making a quest book so that Carl actually has somewhere to put all the quests the player has. I redirected the UI designer to Carl so that him and Carl could discuss the quest book. I wanted to make sure Carl and him both knew what the quest book should have looked like and how it functioned, so I just let Carl do my work for me. Anyways, Nathan got back to me and sent me over this beautiful looking quest book that was just perfect. It fit the style and functioned exactly how we needed it to. The next day, Post Critical showcased some of the awesome progress on the new map. He showed us a new way to add some extra details on high peaks and overall started adding some more camps, towns, and areas into the map. In addition, he asked Perforator to start modeling up an abandoned mining facility just to get the blockout one out and could get this whole area a facelift. Once getting the basics in, he asked me if I could add in the player, and knowing me, I read it, understood it, said okay, and then completely forgot to do it for the next few days. But finally, I did get around to implementing the new player model into the map, and it felt awesome to run around in this new gorgeous map. In addition, the height differences really capture something we want the player to feel when playing, and that is to make him feel small in a grand map. Not only did we manage to finally add in the player, but I also added in something that was missing, and that was post-processing. And let me tell you, the only thing that might rival my love for water is my love for post-processing. Once adding in those effects, the entire map just looks so much better. And this is where everything went downhill. Well, I mean, kind of. Towards the end of week 2, we had some difficulty finding the time to finish up the things we had left. My classes got a bit harder with teachers just piling on tests, and Carl just did not want to work. I'm completely kidding. He is currently dealing with a major fire in his state, and in all seriousness, if you guys do find yourself in that situation, I hope you guys stay safe and well. So while Carl couldn't work as much, I went ahead and got the new quest UI in-game and got it to a point where we can enable and disable the UI element in-game. I also spent a while getting the UI to be perfect in the hierarchy just so Carl wouldn't be confused when implementing the new UI into the overall questing structure. While I handled the implementation of the UI, Post Critical challenged Excelsius's environmental modeling skills and asked if he could make some destroyed, normal, and some larger bridges. He wanted these just so we could connect the different points of the map better and make him look really flush. And while Post Critical himself added in some more details, Excelsius started to get the perfect bridge created. And the next day, Perforator finished up the abandoned mine, and I'm darn tootin' that mine looked gorgeous. Oh, that one was painful to read. I thought it would be funny, but it was just hard on me. And in addition to all the different models, the Lonesome Barb created the second exploration theme for Windshire, and this track sounded gorgeous. It captures exactly what we're going for, and you know what? Just listen to it and let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. The final thing I managed to do before the month's deadline was here was to add all of the orcs to their respective camps and their respective count per camp. With all of these features added, our game got to a very nice and playable state, but we're still a long way to go before releasing phase 2. So after this devlog, you might expect us to talk about how we entered this month's spotlight, but sadly we did not. There are many reasons, but with questing not being 100% implemented, and since Post-Critical didn't even have any time to add quests into the map, we thought it'd be best to hold off till next month to actually submit our project into the spotlight. We wanted to make sure when we showcase our project to a wide audience that it feels like a full experience and not just a project. Though these 2 weeks have really helped our team put 100% of our focus onto the project rather than being split between YouTube and the project, we hope our audience understands why we did this. Even though we didn't end up submitting our project to the spotlight, we're really happy that we did take the time and do this. The final bit of news we have this week is that if you guys aren't in our Discord, we announced that we are very excited to give back to our awesome community, and we are hosting a giveaway of a few Unity assets that will help you guys in your game dev journey. We're still planning out the specifics, but once we get all of this figured out, we will announce how to join this giveaway on our Discord first, and then the next video on our YouTube channel will talk about it too. So if you want to join it first, go down and join our Discord. But on a slightly different note, I wanted to thank all of our awesome patrons this month. Let's give a huge thank you to Tofster and Token. They have been an awesome help for this project. Not only them, but Deathstroke, Inconspicuous, Max, Tajna, Artem, Delta, and Windshire. You guys have been such a help in development, and we wanted to thank you for supporting us. And on that final note, thank you guys for tuning into this devlog, and I'll see you guys in the next devlog.